In today's video, I'm taking you behind the scenes photographing this beautiful 1965 Mustang convertible. I'll share some of my tips to get the best results when shooting cars, and make sure you stick around because we're also doing some light painting with this huge GVM light bar. I'll just start by having a walk around the car and see what looks good. And I'm currently on the 24 to 70, and I actually prefer to zoom quite in because then you get that kind of compression effect, and that usually looks good on cars. And I'm then just adjusting the polarizer on the front here because this is a, well, it's not black, it's like a dark blue car, so we get some pretty crazy reflections here. And I usually tend to shoot quite low because then you get a nice angle of the car. But I really like the interior of the car as well, the contrast between the blue and then the beige of the seats. So I'm shooting a little bit higher up and then shooting down to kind of include that interior as well. I think this angle looks really cool. If you get like the quarter side of the car, either from the back or from the front, that usually just looks best. I think we're gonna move the car, maybe get a bit of a wider angle. I'm just going to leave the lights on for a bit because that always looks cool as well, especially with the sun going down. But we don't want to push it because with an older car like this, the battery might die. When I'm using the polarizer, I'm not always trying to cut out the reflections. I'm just having control of the reflections is more important, because right now, for example, I kind of like having the reflection on the back there. It just adds a bit more texture to the car so I can see the shapes of the car a little bit better. With an older car like this, the battery might die. So we ended up moving the car all the way there. It wouldn't start anymore, but yeah, this angle looks really cool. Now we have a lot of space to go back as well. Like I mentioned, I like to shoot quite telephoto. We are really losing the light. Let's see if any of these are even in focus. Yeah, I think I have to say goodbye to the polarizer here. And while we're at it, I think I might just switch to the 70 to 200 so we can get some telephoto shots before the light completely dies. So right now I'm like 20 meters, 50 meters, something like that, I don't know, away from the car. I'm zooming in all the way to 200 millimeters, and then you get this really cool effect. I think basically you can shoot anything at 200 millimeters and it will just look cool. I want to find something I can shoot through. I'm thinking maybe these tires here I can shoot through. That's another really good thing you can do to kind of frame a car. Yeah, I guess get a little bit more of a unique shot. So I'm using these tires here as a foreground. Similar to here, instead here I was really framing it. Now I'm using the tires more as like an out of focus foreground element. And again, it creates a little bit more depth. And shooting telephoto with a foreground element and then with that like compression effect, I mean, I think it looks really cool. But you guys could be the judge of that when you see the photos on the screen. We are really running out of light, so it's time to do some light painting. And yeah, we're going to use this giant GVM light. It's a LED light bar. So as you can tell, this thing is pretty massive. And one of the cool things about it is you can use it with these regular light batteries. So a lot of these light bars you see, they generally have a battery built in. The problem with that is obviously once your battery runs out, you have to charge the whole thing and you can't really continue working. If you have these, well, a light like this with removable batteries, you can just have a bunch of batteries and you'll basically never run out of power as long as you have enough batteries. Also, the build quality seems really nice. This is aluminum. And like I said, you have this nice diffuser on the front here to get a nice soft source of light. So for the first shots, we're just gonna do a walk around, actually painting the car itself. So I'm just switching to the CCT mode here, and that allows me to choose a 6500 Kelvin light. And then I can turn the camera white balance to 6500 as well. And that just keeps the white balance consistent as I'm painting the car, so I won't have anything looking weird if I want to blend images together. So as you can tell, that's a really nice soft source of light. I'm also manually focusing because when you're shooting in darker environments like this, it's really easy that the focus might drift. So if you set it on manual, the focus is just going to stay wherever you want it and you won't need to worry about that. So I'm just gonna keep my ISO as low as possible. So I'm just putting it at ISO 100, and I'm actually going to increase my aperture as well. So I'm choosing an aperture of 8 just to make sure that I have enough of the car in focus. And then I'm just dropping my shutter speed because we're doing a long exposure. I want to have enough time to walk around the car. 20 seconds will do. I'm going to set a 2-second timer. A little tip that I like to do is I'm going to turn on my audio signals, because then as soon as I hit the shutter, I will hear the camera count down and I know when the exposure starts and I know when I can start walking with the light. All right, so I think this first shot looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna do a few passes so that I have enough shots to choose from. I always think it's better to have more than too little, because you never know, there might be something that you don't like about a shot. So one other frame I'm going to take is one with the lights of the car on. Again, this is just going to be for the lights, so it's going to be quite underexposed, but it's just so that I can blend the lights in the final photo after. The last frame, we're gonna do a little bit of an experiment. So I'm going to switch the light to one of these color modes or these effect modes. And we can start a little party here if we want to even. I want to have this one rolling, and I can actually make this roll if I want to. We get a little effect like this, which would be, you know, I guess it would be cool for some video stuff. But what I want to use it for is to get like a colored background. So I can just press play and stop here. And because this is, of course, an American classic car, I want to get some American colors in there. Yeah, we're going to light paint behind the car now. So again, I'm just doing a long exposure and I'm going to walk around the car. These are the results after blending all the images together in Photoshop. As you can see, I tried a few different background lights using the GVM light bar, and the possibilities really are endless with a light like this, so it's a very cool piece of equipment to experiment with. And if you would be interested to pick up one of these GVM light bars, I will leave a link in the description. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!